All right, welcome to Out of the Blue from the Block M Podcast Network, part of the Fan First Sports Network, the podcast that only asks one question. Are there no true knights among you? I am Jared Stormer of the Block M Podcast Network and MaizenBrew.com. With me, as always, is Andy Bailey, my hetero life mate. Andy Bailey, the only man I know to have 4 toes surgically attached to his feet so he can stand 14 toes down on a subject. How the hell are you, brother?
Seem to like the warmth. I'm good, brother. I'm good. A tremendous sports weekend. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
We do indeed. A tremendous television weekend. We are back with Game of Thrones. For all of our listeners who are Game of Thrones fans, I highly encourage you to get in on Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. We are so back. Some say we never left. Sports now with Olympics. We are loaded to the bear. We've obviously got Michigan basketball, Michigan hockey. Now you got Olympics in there. NBA, Pistons are rolling. So there's a lot of sports going on right now. Obviously, football with the Super Bowl ending enters its dormant period. But for us, that just means the work is just getting started.
Yeah, I mean, we're locking in. Like, we always talk about like the best sports times, and we're always biased because like almost every month except for like July is a good sports month to us. But this one is like exceptionally loaded.
Yeah, no, it's great, man. Yeah. And I mean, I'm a little partial to the football months, the Octobers, but like April, solid. Like right now, like when you have Olympics, that really takes it up a notch. And Olympic hockey, as you mentioned, we will be using no Canadian products for until this is decided. But obviously Poland for men's Olympic hockey and all of our Olympians over there. So yeah, I'm stoked, man. But we've got a great episode, lot to cover. Obviously some Michigan basketball in this one. And then we were going to discuss in the back half of this one, who are the players that if they hit for Michigan football will really take this thing up a notch? Who do we need to hit to reach our ceiling? So we're going to do a little draft. Excited for that. But first, of course, we have to touch the banner. Let's go through some quick hits here. This was a bit of a bummer, an understandable one. Lou Esposito leaving as defensive line coach for the Michigan Wolverines to take the same role with the Baltimore Ravens under Jesse Minter. It's a bummer, but like that's such an opportunity that it's tough to turn that one down. So you can't be overly upset with him.
No, it's like, would you rather work in Siberia or the Bahamas? It's kind of how it feels with the college football landscape right now. It's a great step up for him, a great opportunity.
It is, yeah. I wouldn't say we're Siberia, and
I would just say college football is Siberia. Yeah, college football is more Siberia. Michigan's like, I don't know, the warmest part of Siberia. Maybe that works. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't going to leave Michigan for another college job at this point, but he would leave for an NFL job. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a real opportunity for him. So that's a bummer. So we'll see what happens with some of the recruits and recruiting. He was an excellent recruiter, excellent developmental guy. So this is one that we're going to have to fill. We'll see how Whittingham and the staff goes and replaces him. Do you think that this is just an internal promotion, or do they go out and get somebody?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm fascinated which way this goes. Kyle Whittingham has a lot at his disposal here, but this is, again, I'm very thankful that we have a coach who has hired and let go and has managed, and not just a roster, but a coaching staff for over 20 years now. Like, this is nothing he hasn't dealt with before.
Yeah, but his son will be staying with Michigan at linebacker in the nepotism room where everyone is either a brother or a son of somebody related to Michigan. Just a truly bizarre room. Like everybody is related to somebody. But hey, look, nepotism, it has its merits. And and I would hope that that translates to our linebacker room.
I just can't believe I don't have an uncle somewhere that couldn't get me on the damn team. Like, I could have sat there with the best of them.
Put me in, coach. I'll go to war for you out there. Super Bowl last night, Seattle Seahawks defeat the New England Patriots. I think most of America probably pulling for that. Most Michigan fans with all the through lines and all the Wolverines there on the Seahawks. I would venture to guess that a lot of them were pulling for the Seahawks. And congratulations to Mike McDonald, Jay Harbaugh, Chris Partridge, Mike Morris, AJ Barner, who was a huge contributor in this one. AJ Barner, the world shall know thy name. He was awesome in this. Mike Onwenu as well. Congratulations to all those guys.
Team, you mean? Onwenu was on the Patriots.
Excuse me. That's who I meant. Olu. Onwenu, was in the game, but yes, Olu on the winning side there. Yeah, no, it was great to watch those guys. Happy for all those dudes, all the Michigan through lines. Clearly the better team. And man, excellent special teams by Jay Harbaugh. As we're talking nepotism, that's more than a nepotism hire, man. That guy's a good coach.
Jay Harbaugh is going to be an NFL coach, like a
He's
head
good,
coach one
man.
day. He is just one of the best at what he does. And I love the Super Bowl, but I'm also a Big Ten fan. So this was right up my alley. This was just like Iowa, Minnesota on a cold, rainy day. So I loved every second of it.
Oh yeah, defensive pornography. Christian
Yeah,
Gonzalez, former Colorado Buffalo, just one of my favorite players, dude. I
he's good.
love the way that guy plays cornerback.
He's
Yeah,
good.
I enjoyed it as well. Good halftime show. It was a good Super Bowl, but now we enter the dark days. No football for a long time. Next year, the Super Bowl, they're pushing it back even further. Will be on Valentine's Day. So apologies to girlfriends and wives everywhere.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm married now. My wife's already used to disappointment.
She's just like, I had zero expectations. So
She's like, I knew this
did
was
get my hopes
coming.
up.
Well, like
Yeah.
this weekend, we're going out for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, well, the US plays at 3, so we can go after that. She gets it, though.
She's like, can we go get dinner? I'm afraid not. We can do a lunch.
my, my poor pregnant wife just tried to go out for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, no, I got US Denmark. I'm locked in. We get this once every 4 years, honey.
Men's double luge semifinals are on. We got Latvia. Can't make it.
The tough draw.
Tough draw. The Latvian luge boys. They know what they're doing. Oh man, yeah. So yeah, it's a shame to see football go, but this is how it goes. And now we prep for next season. It is exciting as Michigan fans to turn the page, start looking ahead. Also as a Lions fan as well. Speaking of football, we have the spring game date and captains announced. Spring game will be Monday, Saturday, the 18th of April. Pretty much generally when it always is, right around my birthday. Hopefully near the birthday of your son, so we can,
Yeah.
7 years from now, enjoy us some spring games and celebrate our birthdays jointly. But yeah, captains announced it's going to be Bryce Underwood, Jordan Marshall, Trey Pierce, and Rod Moore. Any surprises there?
That's Trey Pierce is probably the one that jumps out
Yeah.
just off the bat. And I also have a leadership council as well that's like fully formed of players to help make decisions. And these aren't guaranteed to be the captains in the fall as well, but I like it. I'm all for player-led teams. I think those are the best teams, and I love seeing a player like Bryce Underwood be a part of this, despite being a sophomore, because that used to kind of be taboo at Michigan under Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, some youth there. Not only Bryce Underwood, but Jordan Marshall on there, and then Rod Moore, your seasoned leader out there. So yeah, it makes total sense to me. We'll see how they run their spring games. Harbaugh started out doing like an actual game, and then that kind of shifted a little bit, changed a little bit under Sharon Moore. Whittingham's probably going to have his own way of going about this. We'll see how much he cares about how we've done it in the past, and how I would imagine he doesn't, and probably just wants to run what he thinks makes sense. I didn't go back and maybe something I should have done and look at how Utah ran theirs. That probably would have been good podcasting background research, but I didn't do it.
If you think my wife's disappointed this weekend, just wait until I tell her to hold that baby in because I got the spring game on.
Spring game. Today doesn't work, sweetheart.
Today doesn't work. Hold this till the 19th. Or I'm good after 4. Can we do that?
We got Pistons Hornets on the 19th. Can she go to the 20th? And then we share a birthday.
Can you share a birthday with Jared? Can you do your part? Like, you're being selfish. Come on.
You're being selfish here. What a wonderful husband. I love what you do there.
What a wonderful woman she puts up with me.
Seriously, dude. Michigan hockey. Little ups, little downs. Talk me through it.
So Friday night was an instant classic. Michigan comes back down 3-1, third period to beat number 2 Michigan State 4-3. Jaden Perron puts on the game winner. Just an absolute banger. Night 2, Jack Ivankovic returns. All the energy, vibes are high.
Quick return, by the way.
I can't believe he's back, man. I thought it was going to be a postseason thing, and it came out of nowhere. So yeah, he comes back. Everyone's juiced up, and then the team comes out pretty flat, and they lose 5-2. It was a bad performance. There's no excuse. But too many people, none of our listeners, of course, they are good ball and puck knowers, have been so quick to bury this team after the loss. And it seems they've lost the plot. So I just want to take a few moments here. Let's help them find it real quick. Mm-hmm. This was Michigan's first loss since December 6th. It's second in the last 14 games, and it's first after winning 7 in a row, including 5 with a backup goalie. This team has already matched or exceeded the Big Ten points total from 2 of the 3 most recent Frozen Four teams, with 6 conference games still remaining. Furthermore, Michigan's best offensive player, Will Horkoff, only has 1 goal and 4 total points in 8 games since the winter break in World Juniors, and this team is still 7-1. This is the youngest team in college hockey, and at 23-5, they're still on pace to be Michigan's best teams since the year Obama was inaugurated. Losing to Michigan State sucks, but let's relax, let's catch our breath, and regroup a little bit.
Always sucks to lose to Michigan State, but yeah, forest for the trees here with how well this team really handled the loss of Ivan Kovic, and yeah, a little bit of a scoring drought there from Horcroft. I'm totally with you, man. Like I have zero panic in me,
No,
and like it's just what matters is that they're playing their best hockey once it gets tournament time. So
that's it.
you'd like to see them round back into form, which I anticipate that they will. They certainly have all the pieces, and I will see how much Ivan Kovic like gets ice time and how much they want to kind of work him back in and how that works. Not really a thing I've seen with goalies where you're like
He's
splitting time. I don't know how that works. You would know more than I do, but
he's fine. I think he's
yeah,
going to be good to go full tilt. There's going to be no timeshare or anything with Stephen Peck. I think Covey was good in this game. Like the 5 goals would lead you to lead you to think that he wasn't, but the 5th goal was an empty netter, and you can't put any more than 2 of those on him in this game. Like he was
yeah,
locked in. Like one, I would say was kind of soft, but the rest of them, it was really the guys in front of them just doing him a disservice in this game with their effort and puck battles and everything else that factors into it. But no, he's going to be fine. No game from here matters until the tournament. Like this team is in the NCAA tournament
they're
right
in.
now.
Yeah.
That's it. They're the only team in the top 5 that has not lost to an unranked opponent. Michigan's worst loss is Wisconsin, who's ranked number 13.
It's
Like,
insane because if you stopped playing right now and just played all your backups or freshmen, Michigan basketball would probably be in the tournament. Michigan
yep.
hockey definitely in the tournament. Pistons in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Insane level of lead for these teams right now in
Yeah.
the
So
auxiliary sports. Yeah,
it's
it's insane.
just about getting healthy. And as we've seen with Brandon Naruto teams that make the NCAA tournament, once there, he's never been below the the Frozen Four. He's always at least made the Frozen Four. Now he hasn't gotten over that hump yet. It's a recent national title game, but we've come to expect this team to be playing their best hockey when it matters.
Absolutely, man. So, what's the upcoming schedule look like? Who they got next?
It's tough coming up. It's Penn State, doubleheader at home this coming weekend, and then after that, it's Wisconsin at the Kohl Center, who's also, I mean, Wisconsin, I thought was the best team in the first half of the season. They were on a free fall. They'd lost, I think, 6 or 8 in a row until this past weekend. So they're kind of getting it back together. And with Mike Hastings as the head coach, you know they're going to be locked in. And then after that, it's Minnesota again, who's a little down this year, and then a exhibition game against Simon Fraser that Naruto added just to give this team a little tune-up right before the Big Ten tournament, because when the schedule came out, they initially had a bye week that week, and he doesn't want them sitting idle.
Yeah, and we'll see if Penn State plays their criminal that they have on their roster that we
He's
were.
playing. The charges were dropped.
Oh, that's a shame.
Someone
Okay.
apparently, the rumor was that, or it has little credence now. Someone like called his mom a name that he didn't like, so he walked over and broke their jaw. And I'm like, I get it, I get it.
I get it, but legally, it doesn't matter if you insult
I
someone's mom. Assault is
I
assault.
know
But
exactly. Like yeah. Also, I don't know why his mom's at the bar with him. That's, I mean, I don't know. Canadians, this fuels on to my Canadian hate for Olympic week anyway. So
what are you doing with your mom at the bar, bro? She's like watching
strange,
over you.
weird behavior.
Women's basketball. Talk me through it.
Up and down week. And again, just like another kind of heartbreaker, man. So first game last week, they beat Nebraska 88-76. Tyler goes off for 28. Olivia Olson, just cool, calm, collected, 21-10. And then they play the number 2 team in the country, UCLA. And despite like a good showing right up until the end, Michigan just fell short again, 69-66. Olivia Olson did go over 1,000 career points already in her second season, which is insane.
Crazy.
But now Michigan has lost to the number 1 and number 2 teams by 6 total points. And they're right there. They're right on the precipice. They're the only team to play UConn within 1 possession, or just I think under double digits in like the last 50 games. And like they almost beat them. Like they were that close. So each game has come down to the final shot. So they're getting close, man. They're getting better. They're improving. They're going to be a tough out in the tournament. They seem to kind of fall in that second tier of women teams. Like up top, you have UConn, obviously, UCLA, Texas, South Carolina. Then there's like a drop to like LSU, Louisville, Michigan, and a few other Big Ten teams. So I think they're in that mix right now. So a tough out, but if they get hot and they're knocking down their threes and they have that swarming team defense, they could make a run.
Yeah, their development feels very linear to me. Like this makes sense. Whereas like
Yeah.
the Michigan hockey team is like, man, is this a year too early? The Michigan basketball team, a little bit different with all the transfers there. But this is like a growth of this team that makes sense. And then it's like next year is the year where Michigan should be among the favorites. But then again, with that youth and get them into a tournament setting, who knows? Who knows?
It's
Like,
it's honestly what makes women's basketball so much fun now because you have the player sticking around for 4 years. So you get that linear development with like the hockey team. This is a completely overhauled roster from last season with little carried over. So you're restarting and similar to basketball, you're lucky to get guys for just 2 years. But
mhm.
women's basketball with spots so limited at the next level and opportunities that way, you're going to get them for 3, 4 years. Like it's very rare for a woman to leave after 3 years and go pro. So you get him for 4 years, you get that development, you get that relationship with them. So like this year already feels like we've known Silas Swords, Mila Holloway, Olivia Olson, Tayala Del Foss for like several years. We've only had him for 2. We have 2 more coming up still.
And that's great too, because with Michigan men's basketball, I have no idea who's on this team next year. I can tell you
Yep.
Yaxel isn't,
Yep.
obviously. It would make sense that a day Mara and Morez Johnson jump, but like, could you get Morez Johnson to come back? I would say McKinney's probably the only one that like you guarantees on the team next year. And even
Yeah.
that's like in this landscape, you just don't know. I mean, not that he would jump to the pros, but transfers are always out there. He's going to be a valuable commodity. So, yeah, no, it's very different and fascinating with women's basketball that way and fun. I agree that you can predict that, like, we have 4 years of this group. And that's kind of what we grew up being used to with the football team is, we got 4 years of Khalid Hudson. I love this. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And it used to be that way in men's basketball, obviously changed in the early 2010s. But the Michigan women have Northwestern next, last unranked opponent of the season before hitting a gauntlet stretch down the way. But they've already played the 2 best teams in the country, so nothing's going to surprise them.
Absolutely, man. Last little news nugget here. Next week, baby, awards pod. Top 3 favorite pod for me of the season because we are going to do season awards. So if you are new to Out of the Blue, this is looking back at the season that was, giving some awards for some fun categories. But then we also like to weave in movies there. So we're going to do the work. We're going to watch all of the major movies of the year. I am mostly through. I've got 3 more to watch this week. I know you're watching men's luge doubles. So
I'll, I'll,
don't worry,
I'll
I got Hamnet for us. Don't
don't
worry,
worry.
brother.
I'll fill in the Oklahoma tape. I'll take care of
All
that.
right,
You take care of Hamnet. We'll balance each other out.
we'll balance each other out. But yeah, looking forward to that one, man. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch some games though, and there's some games that I'm not eager to go back and rewatch, but still some fun moments from the season, despite what it ended up being. So I think like in the wins, there's some good stuff to take away. In the losses, it is what it is. We don't generally focus too much on those, but looking forward to that. So next week will be one you don't want to miss. We'll go for 2 hours on that one. We generally always do movies, football, and then it's officially turn the page. And,
Yeah.
for the most part, we're already talking about next season, but this will be the official turn the page.
Yeah. I'd rather watch my grandparents' sex tape than to watch that Ohio State game again, but we're going to power through.
Is that online?
VHS.
That actually tracks. That makes total sense. And then, yeah, I mean, not too early to put it out there before the spring game. That'll be the Monday, so that'll be like the 12th or something like
Yeah.
that. Whatever that is, yeah, we will do the spring game draft. So excited! That is my favorite pod of the year.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be locked in. We have producer Tony this year to help us out, balance some things because you were doing like wearing 3 hats and like going in and out and just like scrambling.
Forgot to
It's like
draft a running back.
when like Dumbledore's like looking through the scrolls in Fellowship of the Ring. That was you in the spring draft.
Dumbledore in Fellowship of the
Oh,
Ring. You've got
God.
you've you've got your fantasy cross,
Got my
brother. It
fantasy
happens.
mix. That's my Game of Thrones brain. Gandalf in Fellowship
Yeah,
of the Ring going through all the scrolls. Oh, such a
there
good
you go.
joke, too. Mm.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's forgivable. I'll let it happen. All right, brother, let's get into it. A couple games since we last spoke. Michigan men's basketball, Michigan versus Penn State, win that one 110-69. This is the Amari Burnett game. 31 points on 11 of 17. He hit 7 3-pointers. His best game as a Wolverine, probably his best game of his life. He
Yeah.
was awesome in that one, but not to be forgotten, Ade Mara had 6 blocks in this game as well. Absolutely dominated Penn State, getting back into that Michigan rolling over people feeling. This was Michigan against just an overmatched opponent, and it was enjoyable to watch. I love those games. I love the close victories, but there's a great joy that I take in watching belt to ass from men's basketball.
This game was over by the first media timeout. Penn State had 4 first half rebounds.
That's the stupidest stat I've ever heard.
4. Like,
Accidentally, you should get 5.
I know, but I was blown away by that. And honestly, man, this is one of the most impressive performances I've seen by this team because you come home from Breslin last weekend, emotional game. You have a longer layoff for this time of the year, going from that Friday all the way to a Thursday. You have a lot of time of people kissing your ass, telling you how great you are. You're the best team in the country. You won at Breslin, the last team to do that. Look at what they did. You're rolling right now. None of that gets to their head. They're not buying their own stuff. They come in here locked in, and this was a business-like performance.
5 guys in double figures, including LJ Kaysen, who I've really enjoyed recently. I like the Kaysen minutes that I've been seeing. He's kind of coming on for him. So that's just
Serviceable,
another
man.
guy. Yeah, man, the shooting's starting to come around a little bit for him in this one. Got some Malik Cordell minutes. That dude out there what is that guy?
It's you sent one of the funniest texts I've ever read. I read that
I don't
text
know if we
like
could say it.
we're not. I read it to family members. It was so good though. I was like, listen to this. Like, I was like, I'm so jealous of this take. But yeah, I mean, Malik Cordell, like he doesn't know what he's doing, but he's big and he's athletic as hell, and he tries so hard. It's just you want to buy into guys like that. They're just still figuring it out. He's so raw. You
Yeah.
don't know what he could be. You don't know what his ceiling is. But damn, is he fun to watch in garbage time.
He's a very interesting player for next year. I mean, because Ade Mara is a guy like, and let's go to Michigan, Ohio State, as I want to talk about Ade Mara a little bit more. 82-61 in this one. Yet another very thorough victory, up 13 at the half. Never really felt like it was in danger. It was an earlier one, at least out here in Mountain Time. So wake up and got to enjoy a rivalry win. That was tremendous. That puts him at 22-1, pretty firmly in the number 2 spot in every metric there. It was a good Yaxel game. He went 5 of 9 in that one. Ade Mara, though, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. He might be, I don't know where he's at in this, and this would be a fun pod sometime. The like guys you've come around on, because I was not an Ade Mara guy early on. I have fully come around.
Let's go.
Much like your wife, I look at bigs and I'm like, well, you're big. You should be good at basketball.
Yeah.
What can you do for me out there? And he just can do way more now that he's hitting his free throws. Hit a 3-pointer.
He hit
in
2
that
threes.
Game. Like, yeah, two threes. Yeah,
Yeah.
but 2 of 2 didn't miss. If he's hitting threes, that's a
Changes.
different player. That's a different player.
Changes the game, man. He finished with a career high 24. Also with Yaxel, you just left out, he had 14 boards, which were a career high for him. Just factoring in anyway, this team is vicious on the glass.
3 blocks from Yaxel, too.
Yeah, vicious on the glass. Yaxel, Mojo, and Mara out-rebounded Ohio State's entire team.
It's insane, dude. And then you get Trey McKinney going 4 of 5, 2 of 3 from downtown, the shooting looking more reliable. And with Kaysen shooting kind of coming around, you're not going to be blown away by that. Yeah, but like McKinney and Kaysen are really good guards to have coming in and playing some of those secondary minutes there. Looking good, man. Looking really good. I just love the way Dusty May has this team like not satisfied. That like everything. Professional approach to this thing, man. And I'm just getting eager for tournament now. That's one thing about covering a team that's this good and this far out ahead in the Big Ten. It's just like, man, I'm kind of ready for the tournaments, man. I'm ready for high leverage situations.
I know. I'm already just like champing at the bit. And then I watched Duke this past weekend lose to Carolina on a buzzer beater. And I'm just like scouting them the whole time for the Michigan game upcoming. And I'm like,
yes,
we have size on them inside. They have a little size on us outside, but Duke is not deep. They are not.
No?
They are 6-7 guys deep, and there's just like we can run the legs off of them. I think very similar to what we saw against Nebraska. I think Michigan will have a chance to do that. I think you're going to see him push the pace. A team Cadeau's familiar with, obviously coming from North Carolina. So I'm fascinated to see that matchup. What could be the national championship game.
It very well could be. I'm a big Cam Boozer guy, but Caleb Wilson certainly putting his name into the ring. You said you would take him number 1 overall. I love it. I'm not going to push back that much. I think Caleb Wilson has put himself into a position where it's not just a top 3, it's a big 4. But that Michigan-Duke game, Saturday, February 21st, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. I can't wait.
Clear the
Cannot wait,
schedule.
dude.
Clear the schedule for that
Clear the
one.
schedule for that one. Yeah, that is must-watch television, and they're going to be fired up for it. Yaxel looks like he's getting back to being Yaxel Lindenborg. I
Yeah.
think that he's looking a lot healthier and just looks more like the player, very much a two-way player that's going to go in the lottery. He's been looking awesome. So him versus Cam Boozer's great. A Day Mara versus those bigs. Can't wait. Yeah, that's fun stuff. Looking forward to that one. Anything else on basketball you wanted to hit on?
No, Jeremy Fears is still a scumbag. They did beat
Sure.
Illinois, though, which gave us sole possession of the Big Ten. So shout out to them for that. And man, we're getting there. Like we're talking about these big games. Like we have Purdue sneaking up, we have
Mm-hmm.
Duke, we have we have Illinois, we have Michigan State at the end. But again, similar to the women, it starts with Northwestern next, which could be a trap game because Martinelli is a baller, leads the Big Ten in scoring. The kid can hoop. He gave us some buckets last year. But from what we've seen with his business-like approach, I expect this team to handle their business.
I would think so too. They're not looking ahead of anybody, and that's just a testament to Dusty May and this staff. Doesn't seem like they're getting too high on their stuff, like we were
No.
saying earlier. So, all right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we've got a fun football segment. We're going to draft up most important swing players of the year. I'm going to do a little Pistons corner to end it. We haven't done a Pistons corner in a minute, so we will be back right after this. All right, we are back. We are righteous men. Sports are just very good. I mean, this is an elite sports time, like we were saying. You got the Olympics going on, and that just like fills the gap because sometimes it can get a little bit monotonous leading
Yeah.
up into April when really basketball and hockey and stuff. It's like, all right, now these games, everyone matters. But this has been tremendous to watch, but that's not going to stop us from talking football. This is a football podcast. We had to have a segment talking about football. I'm excited for this one. And it's an opportunity for us to do a draft. You know, I love me a good draft. Can't get enough.
Favorite movies, backdraft. Like, you know why I'm here. Like, locked in. Like, anytime you're just like, do you want to do a draft? I'm like, yes, absolutely. I'm like, what are we drafting?
I
Like,
don't ask you anymore. I just put the
no.
draft in the doc. Yeah.
You could ask me if you want to draft world currencies based on the like what looks the best. It's like, sure, I got some Lira takes. I can get in there.
Some Lira takes. Do you even know about Donar? I've got some takes.
You know about that? Yeah, yeah. So anytime there's a draft, man, nothing gets me more excited. It's one of my favorite podcast gimmicks. Anything.
It's the best, dude. So for this one, what we're doing is the top 6 swing guys so that we can each get a couple in there. We can do a couple honorable mentions, but what we're looking for, if they hit to their highest level, it will change the outlook for this team. It'll either raise the ceiling, raise the floor. It'll make the biggest difference. So do you want first pick or do you want me to go first?
You go first. You haven't gone first in a while.
I'm going to put this as an honorable mention unless he is on your list because he's a little bit different than what we're looking for the exercise. So I want to give one honorable mention if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rod Moore. And the reason that this is an honorable mention is because we've seen what Rod Moore is. We know what Rod Moore is when healthy. So this one's more based around health. If he can get back to being Rod Moore, what does that do? Leadership wise, he's already bringing that. He can bring that from the sidelines. But what he could bring as a field general out there calling out things for the back end of this defense would be massive. And then just as a player, 100% of Rod Moore will be the best safety in the Big Ten next year if he's at 100%. So that one's worth mentioning, in my opinion.
Worth mentioning as well. Not going to be drafted tonight, though, just because we feel good about the secondary room, especially with the additions of Chris Bracey, Smith Snowden, and the return of Jordan Young. But to your point, like if he comes back, that rising tide lifts all ships in the secondary.
100%. All right. So for my first one, I kind of had 2 guys here, but I'm gonna just take one here in case you have one of the other ones on your list. I'm gonna go Nate Marshall for my first draft pick because of what we've talked about in the previous weeks. That Nate Marshall's gonna have to play. I don't know how much Nate Marshall's going to be expected to play. Maybe another guy that I was going to mention here comes in and surpasses him, but he's going to have to contribute minutes at the very least. He needs to be a rotation player. But ceiling wise, he has an extremely high ceiling. If he hits that ceiling and we have an outstanding edge rusher that we can count on, even if he's just able to rush the quarterback, which looked like last season, that was really all he had in his bag. If he's just able to do that reliably and he can be a 6.5, 7 sack guy, I think that really changes what this defense can do. Take some pressure off some other guys that might get mentioned in this list. So I'm going to go Nate Marshall with my first pick here.
This is a fun spot. I like your thinking here, and he's honestly poised for one of the biggest jumps on the team because last year he kind of played run defense like he was blindfolded. So there's a lot of room for him to grow in this spot. So you could see that sophomore leap right there. And also year two is when you really start to see edge rushers take that step. Like you think Rashawn Gary, you think Kwity Paye, you think uh, Aiden Hutchinson. Like this is when you start to do it. Is year two. You start to understand everything, how to hold up in the Big Ten, and he does know how to rush the passer. That's very just innate to what he is. So if he can develop the rest of his game, or even just be that situational pass rusher and develop a
Right.
couple more moves, it could be a big jump this year. So I love that. I'm gonna go obvious. Bryce Underwood. If Bryce Underwood plays at his max potential, like this is a playoff team, flat out. Like not knowing anything else, like it just does that much more to the room. Having a competent offensive coordinator who likes to mold his system to his players. His interview with John Jansen was very insightful. Like he's just very down to earth. Like yeah, if we have this player, we're going to do this. We're not going to put a square peg in a round hole. We're going to build the offense around him, his skill set. It's going to be quick to pick up. It's going to be fun to watch. So if Bryce is playing at his max potential, I think it lifts the ceiling for everybody.
Yeah, and he probably has the highest ceiling of anyone, or at
Exactly.
least the most impactful high
Yeah,
ceiling. It felt a little too low-hanging fruit for
that's the
me to
thing.
grab, but the difference is that what would you say the gap is between Bryce Underwood last year and Braden Fowler Nicolosi? Granted, coming from Colorado State, it's a tough comp with the competition that they
Yeah.
were playing. It's this is a tough one, but I don't think that there's any drop off from what we saw from Underwood last year to Nicolosi. So,
Well, Nicolosi did get benched last year and quit the team. So
yeah, not
there
great.
there is a drop off. I still think there is just because of what Bryce can do with his legs. And like again, it's hard to fully properly evaluate what we had last season just because of things we know behind the scenes now. But I take your point.
Yeah, no, that one absolutely had to be mentioned. All right, next up for me, one of my most intriguing players. All the stock is out there. We're over leveraged. If this stock hits rock bottom, I have to move to Sri Lanka. Nathaniel Owusu Boateng.
Boy.
I mean, my boy, brother, this is the year. It has to be the year. You've got to be at least serviceable. Serviceable, I think, is very much in the cards. I
Yeah.
really think he has a pretty high floor. He's a smart player. But if this guy is an every down linebacker and he can bring you some stuff out there, I think he's got really flexible hips. I'm interested to see what he could be as a coverage linebacker.
Hmm.
Need to add some size from last year if you're really going to be a rushing threat. I think that he will, in this strength program. I think he'll add the requisite rate, but particularly knowing what kind of opportunity is out there for him. This is a major opportunity for NOB. So he's got to take it. He's got to take the bull by the horns here and become the player we're expecting him to be. I have the ceiling very high. It's ridiculous to just compare him to his brother, what Owusu Koromoa was at
Yeah.
Notre Dame. But if we get that, oh boy, oh
Well,
boy, that's going to
I
matter.
I love that we have Troy Bowles. We're not assuming anybody's starting yet. We really don't know how this room is going to shake out. But then you have those two sophomores together in Chase Taylor and Owusu Boateng to push each other. I love having that. Like, if one of them hits, which I'm with you, I think it's going to be Owusu Boateng next year. That's massive. Like, that is just so good to have that added competition. They brought in some new bodies in the room too, which I like as well.
Hmm.
Nathaniel Stalling, probably my favorite of the group.
Yep.
But
Same.
just to have that in there, like even ease the burden on Wusu as he like gets used to everything, gets his bearings about him. But the talent's there. Like he is your type of linebacker. Through the first time I saw him, I was like, Jared's gonna love this kid. He's
Oh,
see ball, get ball.
100%.
Like he has to,
Yeah.
he has to get some weight, get a little better against the run. But there's a big ceiling there. I love that. I'm gonna be Captain Obvious again here just to get it off the board. John Henry Daly. Like
This is a big one
you
on
gave
my
me a little
list.
fear last week coming off that Achilles, and like it's resonated. Like, but if he hits his ceiling, it changes the geometry of the defense because if you can disrupt the passer on the other side, eases the burden on the entire unit.
This is one you could make an argument for most important because we're relying on him. Like our expectations for the defense are built around getting John Henry Daly at something like what we got at Utah coming off an Achilles. I watch a lot of basketball, and that's a really common injury in basketball. You don't hear about it as much in football, but it takes time. It'll be about 9 months at the start of the season, which is about the Achilles recovery timeline, so we're hoping that he's able to come out there and contribute. But like, if it comes out and John Henry Daly, like, is struggling or, like, isn't ready to go for the first month, it dramatically changes what this defense looks like. It is a big one. This is a dramatic one. Had to be mentioned here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for him, though. And if he does hit that ceiling, all Big Ten, like
All-American,
Nagurski
like that.
Award,
Yeah,
All
that type
American,
of
like you
player.
name
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you name it. So extremely high ceiling. All right. Next up for me, I'll throw out since you took him, and I don't think he'll be mentioned. One more honorable mention. When I mentioned Nate Marshall, the other guy was talking about Carter Meadows. So I'll throw that out as an honorable mention. Clearly, there's some emphasis on the defensive line here. You know,
Yeah.
we've already harped on it so much. You already know if you're a Michigan fan how important it is that some of these guys on the defensive line hit. So that's one. All right, Andy Babs, Andy
Oh, here
Babalola
we
here.
go.
Yeah. Expected to start last year. It was really looking like he was going to be one of our starters at one of the tackle positions. Sounds like it was left. Him coming in, it moves everybody else around. You can kick Link inside, something that we think is going to happen. And the ceiling, obviously, being one of the highest 5 stars we've ever recruited at Michigan, the athleticism. He is also coming off of an injury. The good news, I guess, would be that that injury happened early. Last year
Yeah.
was preseason, so he's had ample time. I would think that he's coming back. He's so young, too. You would think that he's able. I think it was a knee injury. I'm pretty sure it was like
He has a
ACL,
knee.
MCL, one
Yeah.
of those. Yeah. Not great, and certainly not great for a guy that's 6'7" and needs to bend in order to, get low on some of these guys. But I think he'll be able to come back from that. And if he hits at his ceiling and he's what we think he is, that just allows you so much more freedom. I think that that would give us a pair of bookend tackles that really starts this thing off. Guaranara starting to feel like a known commodity to me, and then that gives you building blocks there, and it'd be huge, man. It'd be huge. Ceiling, floor, ability to change other positions up, move guys across the line. It'd be a big one for us.
Yeah, I mean, it opens up all kinds of doors. You talked about kicking Link inside. Does Blake Frazier kick inside as well? How does it get sorted out with Brady Norton, and Phobie? And honestly, I'm going to tie this into my next one. And you mentioned him right there at the end. It's Jake Guarnera at center. Like this
Yeah.
is a big one just because of the positional need and value. If Jake Guarnera goes out, who's up next? I assume it would be a Phobie kicking in. I think he
Mm.
has some experience there, but you don't feel good about that. You want to bank on Guarnera and his ceiling there, and all these guys kind of go together. You want to get the best 5, and you want to get them as soon as possible so they can build that chemistry. Because unlike most other positions, the offensive line is so just one unit, one body, one thing. You all have to be in sync for it to reach its potential.
I'm with you. And I said he was a known commodity at guard. He'll be our
Correct.
starting center. So, like, known commodity, I know what we can get out of him at guard, but he is the center. We still haven't recruited like a top tier center to come in. I was really hoping that's something that we addressed in the transfer portal. And then you could play him at guard if need be. But now he is mandatory center, number one, and then probably a big drop off, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. So this is a good one for you to throw in there. I didn't put him in because I was like, I know what Jake Warrenara is as a guard. So that's the
Yeah.
caveat
It's
here.
like after him, it's a grab bag. Like, is it Brady Norton? Is it a Phobie? Is it Avery Gash? Like, I don't know who it is after that.
Yeah.
Houston from
All right. So
Nebraska?
Houston from Nebraska, who I am excited about, by the way. I
Mhm.
think that there's a player there. So I'll be interested to see what he does in this. All right. My last one here. I assume he's on your list. It's Savion Hyder. What are we doing? It is Savion Hyder here. If Savion Hyder hits his ceiling, we comped him to Adrian Peterson. I had another comp for you that I thought was really fun. How about Thurman Thomas? Just a complete, well rounded
Oh,
back on the Oklahoma State team with Barry
Barry
Sanders. Is that the
Sanders.
best backfield that's ever
Yes.
existed in human history? Period.
Period. Period.
The end.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
There's a
Thurman Thomas
Barry
and Barry Sanders.
there's a Barry Switzer quote somewhere where he's like, "Do not injure Thomas because then they're gonna put Sanders at running back."
Insane, dude. And then Thurman Thomas went on to have like a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, stud.
Yeah. Like, even if you took Thurman Thomas out and put in like Davion Smith, that's still one of the best backfields of all time
It's
because you have Barry Sanders.
still that good. No, I love that comp, and it's to your importance. We talked about this a little bit last week about like easing that burden on Jordan Marshall. Like we've never seen a fully healthy Jordan Marshall season. It's been a while since. I mean, it's tough to see a fully healthy Michigan running back season. Period, unless your name's Hassan Haskins, who was just carved out of granite. He could hold up,
Yeah.
but really nobody else has able to sustain that year in and year out. So having Jordan Marshall come in there just brings a little extra juice. Bryson Cousins' return is important as well, but
Mm-hmm.
Hyder's a different element, different beast, completely different ceiling with what he is as the 5-star, the number one back in the country.
And something I mentioned, I think, on the podcast last week is like, are we over leveraged on our stock? And what I mean by that is like we're assuming Hyder comes in and is RB2 and we're like penciling him for 650 yards.
Mhm.
Is that too much? Are we asking too much for a freshman running back? I mean, for all the great running backs that we've had, and for the Zach Charbonnets that can come in and contribute as a freshman, there's also been Kareem Walker's, and he is not Kareem Walker, different player, but
Derek Green,
you,
Sam McGuffey.
yeah. Oh, Sam McGuffey, 20 years ago. That'll make you feel old.
Oh, yikes. Oh, God. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, those are all great names and stuff to mention. We're putting a lot of pressure on freshmen here. Two more honorable mentions for me, real quick. I just have X's and it says kicker, TBD. Whoever the kicker is, because we know with this schedule, some of these games are going to be close. And kicking,
Yeah.
as we saw in the Super Bowl, special teams will swing things one way or the other. And thank God we have an adult in the room now. The other one I put on here was Trey Pierce, just because of the defensive tackle depth. So much unknown there. If Trey Pierce can get back to the guy that was two gapping against that Alabama front and really holding his own against Tyler Booker and some elite interior players, then this team is going to have a great chance of being able to stop the run and allow these linebackers to play fast and free.
Yeah, it felt wrong to not have a defensive tackle on here. I'm glad you put a defensive tackle on here. And with Trey Pierce being named as a spring game captain, that
There you go.
shows to me that there's some expectations. And that's,
Yep.
I think, a good sign, because like someone has to step up here at defensive tackle. It can't be Titan Davis, come save us. That's
Yeah,
just
it can't be
that.
Alistair Vallejo. Like, we need you now. Like, it can't. That's too high to ask of a true freshman.
Yeah, exactly. With Hyder, the expectations are a little bit different caliber of recruit. But
Yeah, in
no,
different
this is a great
position
one.
too.
I mean, dramatically. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a really good one. All right. Who's your final?
So my final one, I already did three, didn't I?
Oh, Trey Pierce was your last.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Trey Pierce, my last one. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Thought he was another honorable mention. I'll throw one more out there, just to get a little bit weird with it. How about Jay Hill? Jay Hill has a monumental task ahead of him to go and build a great defense out of this. There's a secondary there that I think he's going to like. And bringing Smith Snowden in, Bracy from Memphis, if Rod Moore's healthy, that's enough pieces that is the focus of your defense. But how can he piecemeal this front seven together? What can he get out of these guys? What, like, is he going to have to change up what he was running at Utah because of personnel and because of the guys that he has there and where the strength of this team is? I'm fascinated to see what he does. I really like what I've seen and read about Jay Hill up to this point. I think he's going to be a great coordinator for us. But this is a big year for him. If he can turn this into a top, we usually say we want a top 15 defense at Michigan. Can you be a top 20 defense next year?
Mhm.
I think that's going to give us a chance to win some of these difficult games that are kind of coin flips on the schedule.
You said that so fast with Jay Hill. I was like thinking in my head, I was like, Jair? Do you mean Jair Hill? And I'm like, oh, the coordinator. Got it now.
Yeah.
No, that's tremendous. Again, you know how I feel about Jay Hill and his potential and his honestly future career coaching prospects. So I have a lot of faith in him and what he's going to do here. Just fascinating to see how it shakes out. Again, with all these new coaches, you have new sets of eyes evaluating players. So what we knew the depth chart to be last year could be completely turned on its head with new set of evaluators coming into the building, reevaluating everything, taking stock of what they have, and putting him in new positions to succeed with new schemes on both sides of the ball.
Do you feel confident that Jay Hill, based on what you've seen at Utah, can turn this into a good front seven?
What BYU
I
you mean
think
for him?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, BYU, my fault. But to turn it into a good front seven, competent, I expect competency. This is Michigan. I expect competency. If it's not competent, good luck beating Indiana or Oregon on the road or even Ohio State. Like, if this is not a competent front seven. But do you think he can get it to be a good front seven? And if so, like, does that put him in line for promotions as soon as next year?
Yes. Yes, I do. I believe in Jay Hill, but I believe more in the combination of Jay Hill and Kyle Whittingham. That's what I
Mm,
really believe in. We have a
yeah.
defensive head coach now, and he's not just going to be completely hands off on that aspect. He does a great job of delegating, but he's a defensive guy at heart. I mean, coordinated for Urban Meyer, came up under him at Utah and took over. Like, he's done his thing. He was retained by Meyer. That's how good he was at that time. So, like, he knows what he's doing as well. So, the combination of those two minds in the room, I think we're going to get the best version of this roster on the defensive side of the ball, guaranteed.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit more 10 toes down. I'm fascinated to see it. It's obviously what I'm watching the most is like, can he take, you know, chicken shit and turned it into chicken salad. I don't think it's chicken shit
Yeah, I
level.
was gonna say it's a little harsh because there's a lot of, especially in the back end, a lot of experience coming back, which will help the
Yeah,
front.
in the back end. Yeah, in the
Yeah,
back end. I'm specifically talking about this front seven.
yeah,
Like, he's got a pretty difficult task ahead of him. And then you lose Lou Esposito, who was
yeah.
an incredible developer of talent. Like, it's one of the biggest things I'm watching. He's got I wouldn't say a microscope on him because the pressure's not on him. It's more on Whittingham,
Yeah.
and like, that's another fascinating question here. Is there pressure on this staff year one? I mean, there's some pressure. You're at
It's
Michigan. Is
Michigan. It's
there
Michigan.
big pressure? Is there heavy pressure year one?
I I think there's always heavy pressure because of Michigan, but not in the traditional sense because of how they inherited this roster and everything that took place. Like it's going to kind of be just a little grain of saltish with like, okay, you took over in this way. Now you're bringing in your guys. You have a full cycle to develop. Now we can really like get the lay of the land with them and give a full evaluation. It's not one to one by any means, but similar to like Harbaugh in 2015. There was ups and downs that season, but there was enough to really be excited about. They got the 10 wins, got the bowl win, and you could build upon that for the next year. I think it's going to be similar with Whittingham.
I think so too. I think there's pressure to get to 8, 9 wins. There's
Yeah.
pressure to like, you can't go out there and go 6-6. That's
You
not
can't
going to
be getting
cut it.
smoked like Sharon did against USC, against Ohio State, or even just like not smoked against Oklahoma, but kind of just dominated in that game. That has to be put aside. This team has to be competitive in all of these tough games, despite the schedule.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any, like, job security issues with
No.
any of these guys year 1 unless it is, like, a 6-6 year, and
Yeah.
then, like, Whittingham's gonna realize, like, really quickly that this isn't Utah, and she's like, "Oh, wow, there's a lot of outside pressure to improve the defense."
Yeah.
Like, and then you have to make a move from Jay Hill. To be clear, I don't see that happening. I think Jay
No.
Hill's a great get. I think Jay Hill's a great get. I see this being the staff for this season and then next season. If anything, I would agree with you that like these guys outperform expectations. You got to worry about retaining a Jay Hill or a Jason Beck more so than I'm worried like it's 6-6 and we've got to lose one of these guys and try and find an upgrade. Because look, there was not any upgrades available. We got the best possible coaching staff we could have given the circumstances. So, next year it'll be different with the cycle and everything like that, a little bit more normalcy for us. But the pressure is like competency. That's what the pressure is next year. It's not like you don't got to go out and win the Big Ten next year.
No, but I mean, you look at what Jay Hill's turnaround job at BYU, it's not that at Michigan. He's turned around way
Yeah.
worse with way less talent. So now if he has Michigan with the talent here, and again, new sets of evaluators coming in because that was one of my biggest gripes with some of the assistant coaches on the previous staff was, are they good developers? Is
Yeah.
it they're good recruiters, but we have some development issues. We weren't seeing some of that progress that we'd gotten used to under Jim Harbaugh. So having a guy that's used to developing players at BYU, at Utah, because you're not always getting the top tier talent, makes me feel good about the coaches that now do have that talent to develop.
And we'll see what these guys are as recruiters. We were able to get a
Yep.
lot of the Utah guys this year. Are they able to go into the Midwest and down into the South and
Kerry
get some
Coombs was
guys?
so crucial to retain for that. So crucial to retain. Former National Recruiter of the Year, knows the state of
It's a
Ohio
great
like the
point.
back of his hand. That was one of the most important pieces to retain in terms of recruiting.
Former
Yep.
Buckeye, knows that landscape very well. Yeah, man. No, there's a lot of it too. And like I'm so fascinated for next year. It's just a more interesting season coming in than the last season was. And it's easy to say that with hindsight, but so much turnover, such a new chapter for Michigan, so much carryover as well. There's still Harbaugh carryover. There's still guys with rings on this team, but it's a real turning of the page moment here for Michigan. And there's so much for us to cover. It's going to make for great podcasting, if nothing else. Like we have got a lot to discuss, a lot to break down. Like special teams with Coombs is like a bit like that needs its own episode, like what does that look like next year? So it's going to be fun from a podcasting standpoint to talk about all the shifting of the landscape here.
It's so much fun because you really don't know what to expect. I expect it to be good because I'm an optimist. I think your outlook says more about you instead of this team at this juncture because we don't have any evidence. It's like, I mean, we can look at what they've done at previous stops, but we don't know how that's going to play out at Michigan. So we still have to see that. But like banking on that and being who I am, I feel good about this. I just feel good about having adults in the room. more importantly.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have the nonsense, the malarkey, any of that going on anymore. So I feel great about that. I'm just fascinated to see what direction it goes in because no matter what, I understand there are competent adults trying to figure this out, and I trust them to at least have some semblance of a solution as compared to previous regimes.
Competency is baked in with this
Yeah.
staff. Competency is baked in. I'm with you. Final question, and then we'll go to Pistons corner here. If it's 7-5 and it's a marginal jump up for Underwood, and it's like struggling, don't beat any of the teams that we won't be favored against. I don't think we'll be favored against. Do you think we'll be favored against Oklahoma? That's kind of the one where I'm like, I don't know who's favored in that game. Probably Oklahoma.
Probably
It's at
Oklahoma at this
home
point.
though.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, Mateer is good. Like, it's like,
We know
especially
Mateer's
healthy, he
good.
can play well and like
We
with
know
a
they got a
minimal
defense.
defense. Yeah, so I
They
bet
just
they'd be
beat us. Yeah.
yeah. So that they could
Two
be
and a half
favored.
point favorites, probably.
Yeah,
Probably not much.
no, if we lose all of those games and go 7-5, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to be a fire everybody season. It's not going to be enjoyable. But like,
No.
because we're expecting jumps in certain areas. If all those games are close, if there's like a trouble with a snap or a game-winning field goal or something like that, then you can start talking yourself into the next year with a full cycle and everything.
Yeah.
And get excited for it. But I know 7-5 season does not get me excited. Makes me sound miserable. Makes me want to reorder some like heartburn medicine because that was all of last season. I've done this already.
Yeah. So my question with that would be, if it is 7-5 and a lot of it is due to Bryce Underwood, do you look elsewhere? Do you say, we're done with the Bryce Underwood business. We can go get a transfer in this modern climate and like guarantee a certain level of competency?
It would get down to exactly how he played. Like, you'd have to like talk about like the big moments, the rushing, the throwing, and all of that. But I mean, it wouldn't be off the table.
No. Nope. Something to consider.
Yeah.
I'm with you. All right, brother. Anything else here on this topic?
No, dude, wrap us up, man. Give us some piston steaks.
Pistons corner, sitting currently 5 games ahead of the Knicks in first place, on pace for 60 wins. So much fun. If you listen to this podcast, I'm a Pistons fan. You certainly know I've been a Pistons fan for pretty much since I was like 13, 14. I remember the Stackhouse eras. I'm having so much fun watching this team. Did they perhaps misread the landscape by not making a move?
Oh, they did make a move.
Kevin Herter, come on now.
Yeah, I think so. You and I were texting about this. The trade deadline feels just like, you're up at the plate and it's like you just made contact and you flew out. Like, that's all it feels like. That's what it is. This is the move, the one that's going to put us over the top, and a very just wide open year for the Pistons with like Tatum pieces missing, Giannis being down. The East looks wide open. James Harden is now here to help us on the Cavs. Like, thank God that happened. So you have all this stuff opening up the East, and now you have Oklahoma City not being this dominant force anymore. Teams starting to figure them out, starting to show cracks in the
We have
foundation.
the same number of losses as Oklahoma City, by the way. Both have 13 losses.
Same number of losses. And who's been better over the last 2 months? So
it's the Pistons without a question.
It's right there. So I just wish they'd been a little bit more aggressive. Your championship window, like Tom Brady said, is this season. That's your window, because no season after that is guaranteed.
It feels a little bit like we want to keep our job. We want to extend things out. So we're using this year as like what we're calling like data collection. The data's been collected. You are an awesome team. You have the opportunity to win the championship this year. And Jaden Ivey to Kevin Herter, you could make a real argument, is a downgrade. Now, it'd be an interesting argument. Kevin Herter's played in a lot more playoff situations. He's a career 30% shooter in the playoffs. Last time he was in the playoffs, he shot 20% from 3. The one thing this team needs is shooting. Jaden Ivey, currently a better 3-point shooter than Kevin Herter. I think it's a misread of the landscape a little bit. I think it's a little gutless to not go for it. You didn't have to go get Michael Porter Jr., but Ayo Dosunmu was out there. Corey Kispert was
Luke
out
Kennard.
there. Kobe White, Luke Kennard, who's shooting like 45% from 3,
50.
was out there. Good God, eternally gettable Luke Kennard. Yeah, and I get it. They're like, no, we want somebody that plays defense as well. That's our identity. Asar Thompson covers up everything defensively, and Isaiah Stewart. You have 2 of the top 6 defenders in the world on your team. You can afford, they play Duncan Robinson out there, and Michigan fans know Duncan Robinson very well. Not exactly Dennis Rodman on defense. So, like, I think a shooter in like if we had Malik Beasley's a worse defender than Kevin Herter, but that makes way more sense for this roster. So I'm not going to sit here while we're in first and whine and complain like this is an awesome team. They just beat the brakes off the Knicks. Charlotte Hornets game kicks off in 50 minutes, so we gotta wrap this up. So I gotta tune in, baby. But I think it's a little bit short sighted. I think it was a little bit like, no, we're clearly good. Look at the record. Not thinking that come playoff time, this defense is going to ramp up and Cade Cunningham's going to be in hell when people
Yeah.
are triple teaming him because that's what's going to happen. We saw it last year. They're going to meet him at half court and they're going to double him. They're going to make him give up the ball and make him get into actions. And he's also a really important defender. So, like, he's going to be working his ass off here. And I would have liked to see them go get Cade Cunningham some help. Still, to this day, the best secondary offensive option he's had in Detroit is Jeremy Grant. Like, it's time to improve that, guys.
Dude, even a player like, hold on, there was one day. I mean, you could just easily talk yourself into a few pieces here, but like if you added Tyus Jones just to be a competent backup guard who could just
Attaboy.
distribute the
That's a
ball,
name.
give you some good minutes that you can trust, or even Colin Sexton, if you just want to get a
Would
dog
have
to fit
loved
into the
Sexton.
identity.
Yeah.
These guys were out there for peanuts. And it just felt like
Yep.
this team settled. They jumped early and then they didn't realize the market at all. And it was like, oh crap, we could have had a much better player. Now, I would love to be proven wrong in this. As a fellow Ginger, Kevin Herter,
Same.
let's go get some buckets. Come on, baby. But I can't feel good about this.
No, I'm totally with you there. And like you now have great, you have all your ammunition, but we are in the window and these
Yes, the window's
windows
down.
close. And the Atlanta Hawks thought that they were in their window a couple years ago when they made the Eastern Conference Finals, mistakenly misread the room, didn't realize like, no. Like just because we had done something in the past, like situationally, things change quickly in the NBA. And, look at it now. They've completely retooled. Trae Young is off of that team, and that window closed in a heartbeat. Now, this one feels a little bit more sustainable because Cade Cunningham's not going anywhere. Jalen Duren will get signed to a close to max extension. Asar Thompson is back. Isaiah Stewart's on a contract. Ron Holland's not going anywhere. This is the team you have for the next couple years, but like Jason Tatum's coming back. The Pacers will be back next year. They just got Ivica Zubac. That's a really good pickup for them.
Good
It's
pickup for the
going to get
Pacers.
harder next year. And like if you get taken out in the first round, which I'm not worried about unless it's the freaking Hornets that get in there, there's going to be a lot of eyes on Trajan Langdon and this staff and being like, you misread this. So
Yeah.
they've got to make, what do you think, at least a competitive second round series to make it feel like this was a good season? I mean, we're 5 games up in first.
I think
even that might be low.
It's got to be conference finals. It has to
Yeah,
be
that's
conference
fair.
finals
Yeah.
with this team. And not to mention the Giannis piece that's going to drop this summer now.
Yeah,
Like if he
he's going
goes
somewhere.
to the Knicks or the Heat, again, just completely changes the gravity of the Eastern Conference. And you have to readjust again. Like, okay, now we have to do this. Now we have this window. So it just opens up a complete another can of worms. Now, let me ask you this. What would you think about if the Pistons added Mojo in the draft?
It's one of my favorite possible things. Now, granted, he is like a beef stew type of player,
Mhm.
but you know what I love about having a good type of player? Having 2 of them.
Strength on strength.
Strength on strength is how I build. I would love it if you and I ever got to be like roster consigliaries because we like see things the same way. Like we would be like, why would we get that guy? We already have that strength on strength. Why go get a great running back when you have a great running back? So we can be the best running football team
So we can have
in the
Thurman
nation.
Thomas and Barry Sanders.
And Barry Sanders. You know what's, yeah, exactly. We couldn't agree more on it. I love Mojo to the Pistons. They did move up about 6 spots by trading Jaden Ivey. That's probably the best thing they got in that was moving up 6 spots in the draft. But Jaden Ivey, number 5 overall pick, moving from 29 or 30 to 22 is pretty small potatoes. And like, I hope you go get somebody great there. We'll see how aggressive they are. It's totally going to depend on how this playoffs go. But like April in the D, bro, is going to be sick. Like we've got Michigan hockey, we've got Pistons playoffs, like we've got men's basketball expected to make a deep run. Is this, since we've been covering it, highest expectations for spring sports?
And the women.
Probably.
And the women.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Apologies.
Across the
I'm a
board,
misogynist bastard.
I mean, I knew that. Across the board, the expectations are so high. I think it's one of the it's hard to find a time when it was better than this. I mean, we could go back to '04, but off the top of my head, I can tell you the men's basketball team wasn't competing at this level. The women's team sure as hell was, and that's pre-KBA. And that's just might as well be archaic times in terms of that program and what she's done there. So absolutely, man, this is completely different. Michigan hockey and the Pistons have had their ups and downs, their shares of being at the high, but having everybody at once, this is great. I love this feeling. I do wish it was last year's draft class, though, because with the Pistons moving up, you'd be just flirting with Yaxel Lindenborg territory, and he is the perfect Detroit Piston fit on this team.
It's insane how good Yaxel. Yeah, as much as I would love Mojo there, Yaxel fits way better because he can shoot a little bit better.
Yep.
Yeah, and like plays defense. And Tobias Harris, his contract is up after this year. Of those teams, who has the highest expectations? Who goes the farthest?
Highest expectations, men's basketball. They're off to the
Easily.
best start
Agreed.
in program history. Like, they have the highest expectations. They have the highest ceiling. I would
Pistons
go.
are so young. Their expectations.
I would go
yeah.
Michigan basketball, Michigan hockey, Pistons, Michigan women. Because we have 2 more years. We know we have 2 more years of the Michigan women with them locked in. With the Pistons, we don't know the window. They're knock on wood, a Cade rolled ankle away from doomsday.
No, it's a very good point. I mean, and you could say that about any team. Like Jaylen Brown goes down, the Celtics have no chance of competing. Like it's all of those. But like Ivan Kovic is back next year. Like this hockey team is going to be good again next year for sure. And men's basketball, unknown, incredibly unknown. That is number one with a bullet. Like it is rare to assemble a team with this much talent, this much leadership. Like Yaxel Lenborg is 24 years old, man. Like he's not coming back. You're not getting guys like this. Like he is better in college than Franz Wagner was in college.
Yes. And it's again, I feel I don't know if he's going to reach Franz's highs at the next level, but I think he has a higher floor, and I think he could be a better playoff performer, which we have not seen from Franz at all. I mean, remember this? There's been a lot of injuries, a lot of struggles, if you list Franz Wagner, you look it up in the dictionary, just excuses underneath it, though. I'm ready for some action. Not to hate on my boy, but this is a guy that airballed the final shot against UCLA in a game we didn't score 50 points in. So
that sucks so much.
It hurts. I don't mean to dump on him, but like I feel good about Yaxel and this team. Like doing it. We have the right man leading the team. We have the right players in the right positions. It's very in the moment, one of one. Like we said during the 2023 football season, these are the good times. Like it is not always going to be like this. We are just 2 seasons removed from an 8-win basketball campaign.
Yeah, it can happen. And like the only way that happens again is if Dusty May takes an NBA job. I think we've got Dusty May locked in for the time being, but like he's that good that an NBA team could come calling. But no idea what next year's men's basketball team is going to look like. Some idea what the hockey team's going to look like. Some idea what the Pistons are going to look like. Women's basketball, you can kind of lock that in, which is great. But yeah, it's men's basketball with a bullet. And that makes me nervous, man. Expectations are, they're a scary thing in that, like, at least Elite 8. Like if they flame out in the Sweet 16 and drop to some team, it's gonna be like, man,
it's got, honestly, it sounds, they have to get to the final weekend because like they have to get to the Final Four. Like in college hockey, honestly, it's just like if you just win one game, it's an accomplishment because hockey has so much variance and everything is so up and down. Mm-hmm. Just even getting one win's a massive accomplishment. Getting to the Frozen Four is a whole other beast.
Puck goes off somebody's skate and it changes the game.
Changes the game. So like for this men's team, they can just get to the Final Four because there is still variance in this because of the draw and everything else. But they have to get there. Like they have to get beyond the Elite 8, in my opinion. You got to get to that final weekend. And then in those last 2 games, the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that's the correct ranking. But as fun as it's been in these auxiliary, I don't even call it off season because I mean, for us, we're in season for sports.
In season. We're never out of season. Let's be real.
July is the only out of season month.
Yeah, that's when we do some of our best work.
Yeah, you're like, we got cycling and peak cycling season.
The lone cycling fan on the East Coast of the U.S. Yes, we do. And we do have Michigan athletes like Michael Woods competing. So I got to lock in.
You're just like, sorry, sweetheart. Like, can we go outside? Sorry, sweetheart. We got
She's more locked in on cycling than I am, though. So, I mean,
I love it. You found the right woman.
Found the right woman to get her locked in on cycling. It's what I always dreamed of.
That's the dream. Any young man in his in his teens, like, I just hope I can find a woman in my later years that wants to lock in on cycling in July when it's 87 degrees out. Like, sorry, sweetheart, not today.
But not today. No, this, and then just prepare for luge. Luge in the off season. Luge in the winter months.
Doubles luge. Those finals are coming up. So sorry, I'm afraid we can't go out to dinner with your parents. Oh man. All right, brother. That's about it for me. Anything else from you? Next week's award season. This is a big one next week.
Next award season. Also, 4 Wolverines on Team USA. Zach Werenski, Quinn Hughes, Kyle Connor, and Dylan Larkin, of course. So if you run a wire, we're not rooting for
too.
I know. If we're not rooting for Team Canada in any aspect, there's no Wolverines there anyway, besides being Americans. We're fully locked in on Team USA, going for the first gold medal since 1980. We all remember what happened in that one, so it's been a while. First time we're going for silver for the first time since 2010, but it is also the first time we've had NHL players there since 2014. So feeling good about this one.
Expectations.
Super fired up, man. Can't wait to watch this. And this time next week, we'll have an idea about the heading into the medal rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. We will. We'll touch on that in our Touch the Banner next week, but tune in for the awards podcast, one of the best of the year. If you're a movie fan, definitely this is going to be your flavor. Even if you're just a Michigan fan, we're going to cover everything that was in the season. Got some rewatching to do. Some of that I'm looking forward to. Some other games less so. I might throw on Michigan State tonight to feel good about myself.
There you
go. I think that would help. Maybe that and a little F1 with Brad Pitt. That'll bring up the spirits. That's what we need here. So
tape over the grandparents' tape and get back to, Michigan, Washington.
You'll want to keep that. Keep that handy. All right, brother. That's going to do it for us here on Out of the Blue. Please like, share, subscribe. Tony on the producer side been doing great work. Please go support what he's doing over on YouTube by subscribing to us. We anticipate every year, more and more content, more and more stuff on video. So appreciate all of you last year, and let's keep it going into this next season. I am Jared. That's Andy. This is Out of the Blue. We'd like to remind you that wherever you go, go blue.